Hi, this is David with David's Tutorials. If you've seen any of my other videos, you probably know I love making these tutorials. I'm a teacher at heart, and over the many decades of my experience, I've studied a lot of ways to do a lot of things. And one of my favorite things these days is to share what I've learned with other people, with you. Because I'd like to make these videos as useful as possible to as many people as possible, I'd like to ask for your help. You can help by answering two questions. Do this please in the comments right down below here on YouTube. I read every single comment made on my videos, so even if I don't answer, please know I will read any comments you leave. Here are the questions. First, please tell me what other tutorials you'd like to see. And second, if you think the way this video was made is particularly better or worse than other tutorials, please let me know that as well. And thanks so much for helping me make this channel better. Okay, now on with the tutorial. I've done an awful lot of research on the internet. I've seen probably 20 different bookbinding methods. None of them seem suitable except a modified version of what's called a perfect binding. So we're going to try that and see how well it works. The first thing we're going to need is some scrap card. I don't want the glue to drool down on the tabletop. I would much rather have it drain on the cardboard. Now we have the cardboard protecting the tabletop. The next thing I'm going to need is some scrap wood. 3 pieces of 2x4 plywood, another piece right here that will go on top. I got 2 of these for about $2.36 each. We're going to need glue. Now I bought some bookbinding glue, pad/book compound. What do you mean by pad compound, padding compound? Well, this is just the stuff that they paint on the spines of paper when they make pads of paper. It's essentially polyvinyl acetate, if you care what that is, PVA, polyvinyl acetate, bookbinding, padding compound, and bookbinding glue. You could probably use Elmer's, you could probably use hot glue, and to put the glue on, I got out on Amazon, and for about $5 or $6 I bought some of these glue brushes. That's all we got. The first thing I'm going to do is position my 3 2x4s to support the board. I'm going to put 2 up at the front and 1 kind of at the back. I just don't want it wobbling. I'm going to take my baseboard and put that on the 3 support 2x4s. The next thing I'm going to do is stack the pages accurately. Bend it, hold it, jog it, release it. Got to be careful about this. We don't want to bind the wrong edge. That would be a disaster, wouldn't it? I then put the clamping board on top. I want it to be even with the baseboard. Once that's done, I clamp them. We want the glue to be able to seep in between the pages just a little bit. If the glue doesn't seep in between the pages, it won't hold quite as well. But if it seeps in between the pages too much, then the booklet will not lie flat. You'll notice the clamps do not cover the edges of the paper. The next thing we're going to need to do is to paint on the glue. When you paint the glue on the spine, you need to go from the center outwards. And the reason you don't go from outside in is because you don't want the glue to wrap around the corner of the binding. From the center going outward. If I had been better prepared, I would have had a cover sheet on top of this so that when I got the glue on that top sheet, it would not be the top sheet of the final product, but it would be discardable. Now we're going to let that dry. It probably takes only 15 to 20 minutes to dry. The best way to figure out how to do something is just try it. Figure out what works, figure out what doesn't work, adjust your procedure as needed. Eventually you're going to find something that really works. We'll come back in a little bit after this is dried. All right, it's been about a half an hour since I glued this edge. I'm going to check it now. Yes, it is dry. It is definitely dry. Now let me see if I can get this thing apart. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. The paper stuck to the board. Maybe I can separate it very carefully because I don't want to rip my paper. This is why I should have put on a cover sheet. Ah, look at that. It lays flat. The pages are nice and solid in there. Oh, that's going to be perfect. Now, separate the pages. Got my good old trusty sharp knife here. The first book looks like it's 20 pages. Best way to separate that, put the knife right in there and very gently just cut it apart. There we go. Now let's check this book. That's going to be pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of these scores apart. 24 pages in this score. And the pages are pretty nicely stuck together. Excellent, excellent, excellent. "51 pages. That's a decent sized score, isn't it? Now, if I had to bind these 51 pages with a coil binding, it would be 3 times that thick, but that is a very nice binding on that. Of course, like any other book, the first time you open it, you're going to have to push it down and kind of fold it, but then the second time you open it, when you turn the page back, it's going to lie flat. That is exactly what we're looking for. Excellent, excellent, and the pages are staying put. I'm not going to pull hard on them, but normally I wouldn't do that anyway. So that's the next book. On to the next phase. Now we're getting ready to do the final part of binding these small booklets. In this case, the small booklets are music manuscript, music scores. You need tape. The tape that I've found that works the best is NextCare Micropore Gentle Paper Surgical Tape. You can tell it's micropore by looking on the inside of the reel. It says micropore. The reason I like this tape, this has been testified to by a member of which I'm a group where people have been taping music for years. They have taped it with adhesive tape, they've taped it with masking tape, they've taped it with cellophane tape, they've taped it with magic mending tape. None of those tapes really work as well as this surgical micropore paper tape. The reason is those other kind of tapes, they get brittle with age, they get yellow, they shred, they crumble. They just don't hold up well under repeated folding and unfolding. This gentle paper tape is very flexible. You can fold it many, many times. It is semi-transparent so that you can put it over, perhaps you have some writing in the margin, you'll be able to read through it. You can write on it with a pen or a pencil. It works just fine. Now all I'm going to need to do is put it around the spine, just around the edge of the spine. We'll start with the paper on the cutting board. Now the main thing you need to do, this is going to take some eyeball estimation, is pull the tape out first about as long as the spine. The next thing we're going to do is put the tape about half of the width of the tape up onto the binding of the book. I put the edge of the tape as close to the top as I can get it and put it down along the entire back of the book at once. Use my fingernail to get out any wrinkles. I take my razor knife and very carefully slice it just inside the bottom edge of the paper, off the edge, and there we go. Just pull it off, and there it is. Now the only other thing I need to do is take this edge of the binding, roll the paper around it, and there it is. I now have a perfect bound booklet with a very nice spine and tape around the spine. And the more you do it, of course, the better you'll get at it. But I can open it. It lies flat. The pages stay in there. I pick it up by one of the pages. It's not going to come out unless I really tug on it. And I don't really want to tug on it. I just want it to stay in there. And this is the way to do the binding. What we have here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books in one glue stack. I will pronounce this experiment of painting the bindings, slicing them out, a qualified success. What I would do different next time, I will put a buffer sheet on the top and on the bottom so I don't wind up gluing my top sheet to my top board. But I tell you this, I'm going to be doing this again. And I hope you got something good out of this, and if you did, wonderful. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more of these good videos, and give us a comment in the comment section, not only how well you like this video, but what other tutorials you'd like to see in the future. Take care all.